Now, I'm sure that by now, most of you are wondering, well, who is this guy? He's sitting up here talking about the end of the world and earthquakes and all this kind of stuff. And in all actuality, since nobody can predict earthquakes and since no one knows why they occur, then therefore don't nobody know when these things are going to happen. And my response to that is, well, again, fortunately I got good news. I got good news for the wise and for the intelligent and for the believer. And you don't even have to be a believer to believe what I'm about to show you. So check this out. I went to the office of the Attorney General on July 6, 2010 at 4:40 p.m. and I filed this public notice. And in it, I told him, I said, between July 6, 2010 and July 17, 2010, we was going to have 2 earthquakes. One was going to have an adverse effect on California, and the other would take place 6 degrees from the common quake zone. Now, with the understanding that the common quake zone is the equator, and around the equator is where most of the earthquakes happen. And I'll get into that a little later and demonstrate that to you. So just understand that in this document, I told him that we was going to have 2 earthquakes between the 6th and the 17th, one in California and the other 6 degrees from the common quake zone. The quake zone is 0 degrees, so if you go 6 degrees north of that, that'll place you in the middle of the United States. Between the 6th and the 17th is the 7th and the 16th. Those 2 dates fall squarely between the 2 that I put on this piece of paper. All right? So, in California and somewhere in the middle of the United States, we're going to have earthquakes between those days. A moderate 5.4 earthquake occurred in Borrego Springs, California on July 7th. DC earthquake 2010. Magnitude 3.6 quake shakes Washington area 7/16/2010. Earthquakes are so rare in the Washington area that even a geology student wasn't quite sure what was going on when a minor one hit Friday. The geology student didn't know what was going on, but J.Fredrerick Nathaniel Mason III knew what was going on. In fact, I told him when and where those 2 quakes were going to happen in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, I even told him why. It says, I have learned that the gravitational pull of the sun, moon, and other planets when at their apogee or perigee are the cause of seismic events in the earth and water. It has come to my understanding that since the earth is 6 degrees off tilt, these events will take place 6 degrees from common quake zones.
So J.Fred,